All right, Brad, we're live.
Welcome, everybody. It's the February 11th, 2021 Administrative Review Team Meeting for the City of Dublin. Lori, can you call the roll call?
Mr. Fagrell? Mr. Fagrell?
Yes.
Ms. Gilger?
Yes.
Mr. Stanford?
Here.
Mr. Koretsky?
Yes.
Sergeant Rice?
Yes.
That's everyone.
Okay, thank you, Lori. We also have some minutes to approve from the January 14th meeting. Does anybody have any edits or comments? Okay, seeing none, Lori, can we get a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Lori, can you call the roll?
Is there a second?
Oh, sorry.
I'll second.
Thank you. Mr.
Now can we call the
Koretsky?
roll?
Sure. Mr. Koretsky?
Yes.
Sergeant Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Fagrell?
Yes.
Mr. Stanford?
Yes.
Ms. Gilger?
Yes.
Thank you, Lori.
You're welcome.
There are no minor modifications for approval this week. There are going to be two cases for review today. The first is just an introduction, and the second is a determination. Chase will be making the first presentation.
All right. Can you see this okay? Great. Okay. Well, yeah, good afternoon. This is an introduction for a minor project review for exterior modifications to the Hampton Inn Hotel at 3920 Teller Road in the Bridge Street District. The site is outlined in yellow on your screen. It is approximately 1.7 acres in size. It's situated north of Teller Road, south of I-270, and is zoned Bridge Street District, Sawmill Center neighborhood, excuse me. This zoomed in aerial provides a little bit of context for the existing site layout. There are two access points to the site, a shared access point on the east side of the site, and a dedicated access point on the west side of the site. The building itself is centrally located on the site with an amenity area, including a pool immediately to the north, and a porte cochere and guest drop-off area immediately to the south. Parking surrounds the building on all four sides, and the dumpster enclosure is located in the northwest corner of the site. And then this photo just provides some existing conditions, a context of the existing conditions rather. So you can see it is an older building with a hipped roof, the porte cochere also roof, a brick building, and it is 5 stories in height. So what you're seeing here is the existing front or south elevation. So again, you've got the hipped roof. It's got IFAS columns running up the sides of the building, and the porte cochere up front here, as well as the main entry on the first floor. So what you're seeing here is the proposed south elevation. The applicant is proposing a number of changes to this elevation. First of which is a parapet. So this gives the building a new, modernized, contemporary look, more in line with brand standards. The applicant is also proposing a accent wing wall for the center of the building, going from the first floor up to the roof line. The porte cochere itself is to be, the roof of the porte cochere rather, is to be reconstructed to a flat roof. However, the applicant has indicated that the structure itself is not changing size or location. And then the applicant is also proposing a new sign code. This would be considered an identification sign, which this building would be permitted with a formal application or formal review. The applicant will need to provide more details on the signage moving forward. This is the existing rear or north elevation. So this is facing I-270. And so again, the applicant here is proposing to pull that parapet all the way around to the rear of the building, and is on this elevation most notably proposing a accent portion of the wall. So this is to be clad in a Nichiha fiberboard panel. Nichiha, the cement fiberboard panel, is a permitted secondary material. However, the applicant will need to continue to work with staff to finalize finished details. This is the east elevation. So you can see the porte cochere on the left there. That'll be the south side of the building, and then the primary structure itself. And so this is the proposed side elevation. Once again, the parapet you can see up at the top of the building there. The accent wing wall here, and then the porte cochere. And then finally, the existing west elevation is shown here, and many of the same details apply with the proposed. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you all may have. This is an introduction, so we're just looking for discussion, comments, questions, and the staff or the applicant is also in attendance tonight.
Does the applicant have anything they want to add?
Steve, I think you might be muted.
Steve able to hear us for earlier?
Steve, are you able to unmute yourself? Okay. Maybe, Brad, if you're okay with moving on to ART comments, and we can come back to Steve.
Okay, sounds good. Do any of the members have any comments or questions? Go ahead, Aaron.
Real quick, and I'm sorry if I missed it, Chase. Is there anything in the material that gives us an idea of the color palette that they're going to be using?
There, so a lot of the IFAS that's existing on the building is to be painted. There are a number of colors proposed, I think 4 in total. So that's something planning staff is going to want to continue to work with the applicant on, because potentially 4 is maybe too many, but in general, it's going to be a contemporary neutral color palette, so gray, kind of bronze color.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from members? I'm going to try back with Steve, see if he has any issues or comments.
Okay. Steve, if you're unable to unmute yourself, we can touch base after this meeting and kind of talk through these items and any others that you may have had comments on.
Okay, so then since this was just an introduction, there's no vote or anything, and let's move on to the next, or I guess we'll see the applicant again in March. Let's move on to the next case. Will be a determination, and Nikki Martin will be the presenter.
Great. Good afternoon, members of the Administrative Review Team. Today we are asking for a determination on the Dublin Village Center former Farmore tenant space, and specifically the west facade. The tenant is located within the Dublin Village Center shopping complex, and is centrally located, having no frontage on any one public street, but rather fronting on a parking lot to the west of the building. In more detail, the area highlighted in red is under consideration today. You'll see that the majority of the area is located in an existing service drive aisle with limited modifications to the parking lot to the west. This application includes both site modifications to provide a new plaza and entry feature, as well as architectural modifications to establish a new tenant entry. The proposed site plan is shown on the screen along with landscape details. You'll note here a central brick entry, as well as a lawn area to the right-hand or left-hand side of your screen, and various seating opportunities. The applicant has also provided, at the Administrative Review Team's request, a detail of the dumpster enclosure. This item has been refined since the last review and includes a brick veneer pier in a Glen Geary rosewood color to match the existing Dublin Village Center development, and a horizontal Nichiha panel between the piers. Additionally, the applicant will work with staff to finalize landscape selections prior to building permits. This will be done in coordination with Planning's landscape zoning inspector. Finally, there will be details provided for the color of the brick entry. The applicant has indicated that the intent here is to coordinate with brick walks elsewhere within the Bridge Street district, specifically those along John Shields Parkway, which are darker in color. With this application, a total of 17 parking spaces are proposed to be removed. A parking plan is not required because the excess parking throughout the shopping center well exceeds the code requirement. In detail, the architectural modifications are to provide an entry feature for a new tenant space. This may be one tenant or multiple tenants. A horizontal Nichiha panel has been substituted for the previous phenolinic panel. This is shown in a bark color. Nichiha is a permitted secondary material and may be used at an unrestricted percentage on building facades that do not face or front immediately on a public right-of-way. A stone veneer is proposed for the base, as well as areas of the building will be repainted in a dark gray. The dumpster enclosure is proposed to seamlessly integrate with the west facade by using the identical Nichiha material. In review of the minor project review criteria, staff is recommending approval with the 5 conditions on the screen. Specifically, that the applicant work with staff to determine those final plant materials, that the lighting selections for both the site and the building be approved by planning prior to submittal of a building permit, that the applicant verify the height of the dumpster enclosure, ensuring it's 1 foot taller than those enclosed mechanicals. Also, that the applicant have the opportunity to collaborate with staff and detail the pavers as well as seating options which are intended to coordinate with the surrounding center. And finally, the fifth condition was which staff has modified in accordance with the code to really clarify that. And that's that the applicant work with staff to provide the percentage of cementitious material for the entire west facade of the building, consistent with the code prior to building permit submittal. And while there is no numeric requirement, really just in terms of tracking, we would like to see that calculation. With that, the applicant team is here today, and I am available to answer any questions.
Thanks, Nikki. Does the applicant have anything they want to add?
No, we don't. I think the only thing I want to add is that we're in agreement with everything as long as Nikki's there. No, we're good, and we can work through everything pretty well. So let us know if you have any questions.
Okay.
And we did verify it's 23%, by the way, and we'll include that in our permit set.
Okay, thanks, Kevin. Do the ART members have any comments or questions? Aaron?
Kevin, is this the project where we were talking about it's encumbered by an AP easement and the width had reduced? Is this the same one I'm remembering?
Yes, it is, Aaron. And Nikki and I got together and I got her the new easement, and so she should be able to get that too if you don't have it.
Yeah, and Kevin, I don't want to encumber this, what we're doing right now with it. I think what will be important is when you're ready to submit for building permits. But if you have it, that's great. And I just wanted to make sure I was remembering that correctly.
You got it.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the minor project review?
So moved.
Thanks, Colleen. And a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Aaron. Lori, can you do a roll call?
Yes, excuse me. Sergeant Ruiz,
Yes.
Mr. Kowalski,
Yes.
Mr. Fagro,
Yes.
Mr. Stanford,
Yes.
Ms. Gilbert.
Yes.
And if there's someone there from fire, I can't see who it is.
Yeah, it's Hamilton, yes, and I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
Hamilton's roof.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you for being here today. So I guess that ends our items for this meeting. And the next meeting is going to be March 11th. So I guess we'll wait until then we adjourn.
All right, Brad, live stream has been ended.